These boxes are the worst hobbies of all time. Once I show you what's in these boxes, you're gonna be like, Andy, you were so right. These are the worst. Oh, you're so correct and smart. Somebody help me. In life, there are many, many hobbies. Some of them are pretty neat. But what are the worst ones? Well, I have the worst hobbies right here. You may disagree with some of them, but this one, I promise you, everybody will agree it's the worst one. I'm gonna open it, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's the worst one. Let's begin. Free soloing. If you do this, I cannot believe that you do this. If you don't know, free soloing is just rock climbing, but without any ropes. Isn't that dangerous? Correct. Phew, I thought. I think rock climbing itself with ropes is already very impressive. That's a lot of strength, dexterity, endurance. But I think I'm missing something with the whole no ropes thing. I'm gonna ask a question that I request nobody make fun of me for. Is free soloing any different from rock climbing? He doesn't know. I'm sorry. Like, if you don't have the ropes, is there a difficulty difference? I feel like the only difficulty difference is that if you mess up, you just don't get to climb cliffs anymore. Or anything anymore. Think of it like racing, where if you took out the seatbelts and the rolling cage and the airbags and everything that made it safe, it feels like racing in a race with that car would be just as difficult, right? It's just if you mess up, you don't race anymore. That used to be a guy. I personally like to make mistakes without dire consequences. Oops, I made a mistake. No, that's not a mistake. That's just a happy little accident. No, Bob. This is the end of the road for me. You will never catch me in a million years free soloing. I don't think there's anything that would make it worth it. Hey man, we should go rock climbing. Yeah, okay. That sounds fun. Yeah, and what if we went without the safety equipment? What? Yeah, like we took off the ropes and the harnesses and we just went solo, freely. Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's a terrible idea. What are you talking about? That sounds fun and exhilarating. That sounds dangerous in a fun and exhilarating way. No, in a good way to end up in the hospital kind of way. Well, Brett's out there doing it. He's probably having tons of fun. I'm freaking out so hard right now. Fine, let's make a bet. We're gonna go free soloing, and if we end up in the hospital, then I give you 50 bucks. I do need 50 bucks. I don't know, it just seems dangerous for no reason. And that's why it's one of the worst. You just make me so nervous up there. Wouldn't you rather try baking? At least put a mattress at the bottom. Personally, I'd rather stay inside and afraid of the world. It's better this way. Next up, I'd like to show you something. Oh God, I think he's sponsored by War Thunder. You would be correct! Run! For sponsoring this video. Number 2, Pokemon card scalping. Collecting cards isn't the bad part. I myself have collected cards. Collecting cards is fun. It's been around forever. People did it with baseball, there's Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh! Nothing wrong with buying a box and just cracking packs. Who cares? That sounds fun. But there's a certain type of Pokemon card collector that nobody likes. The one that goes out and buys everything and fights with people, and then there's nothing left over for anybody else. What are we doing? You're ruining the experience for other fans. You're effectively taking away toys from kids, like little Timmy here. And it's not just kids, it's Big Timmy too.
I want Pokemon.
I know. Me too, Big Timmy.
I also want Pokemon.
Oh. Okay. What happened to good old-fashioned burglary? If one were to just burgle, you could hide your identity, and you don't have to fight people in public anymore. I'm here to steal Pokemon cards. Put them in the bag. Did you bring a weapon? No. Then I'm not gonna give you any Pokemon cards. But I'm burglaring. Also, what's with your mask?
I thought it looked cool.
Hey, give that back! No, you're not giving it back. Did you put the Pokemon cards in the bag yet? Yes, I did. Yay! I did it! It's so bad. People in the community are talking about how they just can't get any cards for their kids. This person on Reddit says, I started collecting with my 6-year-old last year. We haven't found anything in stores since March. She used to ask me about buying packs every week. After months of nothing, she stopped asking about 2 months ago. That sucks. Same story. We haven't seen anything since last November. Wasn't able to get any for her for Christmas or her birthday in February, and by the time she stopped asking, I was happy that she didn't have to be disappointed anymore. Ultimately, stop it. Number 3, cave diving. Specifically going into tiny holes in the ground that are difficult to fit in. Some cave exploring is cool and beautiful even. The beauty of nature takes many forms, but I cannot understand the drive to go underground in a hole that's barely fit for an insect to find another room full of rocks and like a lot of spiders probably. You were just in a room full of rocks. I don't think you needed to break your ribs to get to the next one. It's great that you want to get outside, but then you go outside to go inside of the outside. Just stay outside. The great outdoors, the sunshine, the fresh air. Oh look, a dirty, dark, muddy hole in the ground. Bro, get out of there. It's way better out here. I can have just as much fun in here as I have out there. Thank you very much. A butterfly literally just landed on my head and I'm listening to the birds chirp. How can a dark, dusty cave ever compare? The cave experience is just as a magical experience as you're having. A spider just landed on my head and I can listen to the natural, relaxing ambience of the cave. I have to be missing something. I don't know what it is. Am I too cynical? I feel like I have to be missing something. There's not a lot of hobbies that go from dangerous to lethal if it happens to rain that day. I don't think we're making it, boys. Even if I tried cave diving, I don't think I'd make it very far. Probably get like stuck between 2 stalactites at the entrance. I don't think we're making it, boys. Maybe it's a desire to like explore and adventure and find something new. You know, there's always a Minecraft for that. Or Hightail. Plus, you guys freak me out. Look at this guy moving through a submerged section of a cave. You guys freak me out. I'm freaking out. Okay. Number 4, barehanded fish catching. It's actually really impressive. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to touch fish. I don't like the texture. Moving on. Now, are you ready to see the worst hobby? The one I alluded to in the beginning of the video? Well, there's a guy in there. What? Hey, get out of there. Shoo! Here is the worst hobby, which is simply the worser version of cave diving. Underwater cave diving. It's the same thing with the same freaking dangers, except for this time, there's a terrifying timer on it. Uh-oh, did you get lost and you can't find your way out? Eventually, that's gonna be a really big problem. In regular caves, there's like bats and stuff, but in underwater caves, who knows what's in there? Perhaps a creature humans have never encountered before, and probably for a good reason. You don't even need to have a boulder crush you in an underwater cave to meet your demise. You just need to be there for an amount of time. Do you guys remember how much oxygen we have left? Well, that guy's dead. Do you remember? This gives me a bad feeling. I had a hard enough time playing Subnautica. There is never in 100 million gabillion years I'm ever gonna be found underwater in a cave. Unless you give me $50. Just kidding. What would it be like if flying were 10,000 times better than it is now? 1, an all-you-can-eat buffet in flight. Hey, save some Jell-O for the rest of us. Yeah, you're taking too much. All you can eat, snooze you lose. 2, the seats would be upgraded so that you could actually lean back in your chair. Yeah, baby. 3, the plane would pick you up at your house instead of needing to go to the airport. Honey, our ride is here. How do we get on? The instructions here say a running start. But that's not what planes are like, are they? Well, I fixed it. Yeah, that's right. Here's what I did with my very smart brain. Step 1, I made a list of things wrong with air travel. Step 2, I thought really hard with said smart brain. Step 3, I fixed all of those problems with my own design. And I just gotta say, my solution is gonna blow your socks off. Don't look. That's for later. Firstly, the TSA. When I think of the TSA, I think of that time that they thought I brought a bomb to the airport. We'll cover that story in a little bit. Something I've noticed about every airport that I've been through is that the security is never fully operational. The TSA people are always like, go, 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 go. I'm on the same page. I know there's people behind me waiting. We don't have to be all go, 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 go. If we just opened a couple more lanes, then people can rush less. And with less rush, people will make less mistakes. Hey, that guy didn't take off his shoes. Get him! I mean, if you need more people, I can help. Put me in, coach. How hard can it be, huh? What did you do? I don't know. The thing I have a lot of trouble with when doing the whole song and dance with security is it's never consistent. In one airport, it's one thing, but in another airport, you just don't have to do that thing. Okay, people, come on. Shoes off, hats off, electronics out. You, do a backflip. Whatever. Different places, different rules. I just don't like the attitude. Don't roll your eyes at me because I keep my hat on when another TSA agent told me I don't have to like 3 days ago. I get confused easily, and I have trouble following instructions properly. No, sir, your bag needs to go in the bin. We don't need to have such an attitude about it. The things you are allowed to bring and not allowed to bring also tend to trip me up. I get the majority of things you're not supposed to bring, like don't bring explosives. Not something I'm normally wanting to bring anyway, but yeah, I get it. There was, however, one time when the TSA thought that I brought a bomb. Kelly was in France for an extended time, and I was gonna go visit her for like a week. Je me bleu bleu. I wanted to bring her a gift. What about a nice, comforting scent from home when she gets homesick? A candle. Perfect. I go through TSA, doing my normal spiel of embarrassing myself while doing something wrong. But after I get through, excuse me, sir, could you step aside? One of the agents has me stand near this table. He takes my bag, puts it on this table, and puts on blue latex gloves. Clearly, he's about to go through my stuff. I don't remember putting anything glove-worthy in my bag. What is he going for? I didn't put any snacks in there that could be like a biohazard. I should have, though. Flight's gonna be long, and a snack would have been useful. Sir, are there any sharp objects, weapons, or explosives in your bag? No. Any lighters, matches, or flammable items? No. Did somebody slip something in my bag? I didn't bring anything crazy. Could my switch explode? And then he pulls out my candle. I think he saw the confusion on my face because after he pulled it out, he said, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna take your candle." What was the purpose of your trip? I'm going to see my girlfriend. That candle is for her. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure there's no explosives in it, and then you'll be good to go. Explosives? In the candle? I know that candle is great, but I didn't know it was the bomb. Apparently what can happen is that explosives can be hidden inside of wax, which then can be used for exploding. I was afraid he was gonna like break it or take it apart, but he just wiped it with a cloth, probably with bomb detecting juice. I'm just guessing that's a thing. I don't know. Then he gave me back my bag and my now freshly bomb juiced candle, and I was good to go. I have no idea what they saw in that x-ray, but it must have been weird. All of this is to say, I have a solution to make this process better, but it's only one of the pieces to the whole solution. I have more, I promise. This video is sponsored by NordVPN. During this video. Just getting on the plane isn't really that good either. How long it takes to board the plane always takes a lot longer than I think it should take. It's a tight lane, so you can't get around other people when you're shuffling in. And for some reason, there's always someone who doesn't know how to put the square in the square hole. All right, let's step aside. Let me do this. I don't know either. Sometimes I wonder if it'd be better if people had to pass a test before getting on the plane. Where is he gonna go first? Hey, he can't talk to me like that. Sir, please complete your test before proceeding. But I thought of a solution that makes boarding painless and instant. And that's 2 solutions right there. Seating, of course, is the next issue of flying. Got the aisle seat, the middle seat, and the window seat. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We're gonna do a tier list of plane seats. Aisle is A tier, window B tier, middle is F tier. Okay, thanks for coming to my tier list video. The middle seat is a lot worse compared to the other seats because no one respects the armrest rule. The window seat gets the window, the aisle gets the wiggle room, and the middle gets both of the armrests. Because that's fair. Also, look at what planes used to be. Ample leg room, more arm space. But I will say, at least they give us the little iPad thingies in the back of the headrests now. The future is worse, but also a little better. For this one, I think there's kind of an obvious solution that I think you'll enjoy. Next up on things to be solved is fear. How can you do that, Andy? How can you claim such things? It's all about the turbulence. You know, I think, Andy, just get it together. It's just turbulence. But honestly, it's pretty reasonable to be fearful of turbulence. A lot of things have to go right for us to stay up. It's hard flying. As of today, the best thing I can do is browse brain rot content on TikTok, which puts me in a weird trance-like state. It's not a perfect solution, but it gets the job done. I believe there is a much better way to remove fear altogether for those of us who have a tough time with it. Adding this to the pile of solutions we have, we are almost at a complete, perfect flight experience. We are nearly there. Just as a quick aside, this one's not really the worst thing in the world, and I don't want to be such a negative Nelly, but when I choose the Sun Chips as a snack on a flight and then I open it up, sometimes there's only like 3 chips in there. It's just not that many chips, and if you're watching this and you work at the Sun Chips factory, just like 7 more chips. Okay, moving on. Now that we know all the problems, it's time for the solution that's 10,000 times better. There's nothing, because it's conceptual. Like, I gotta walk you through it. Firstly, security. Can I go home? No, I'm getting to the good part. Should we just add more lanes to make things go faster? No, that's too simple. And thinking small. Instead, we remove the security altogether. When you walk into the airport, you are immediately scanned with a powerful, possibly military-grade X-ray machine equipped to detect any possible contraband or illicit substance such as dangerous candles. Now there's no waiting in line. You just walk in and you're good. Incredible. I'm amazed by my own genius. Boarding. You're wondering, how could he possibly imagine a solution to this? There's only one person allowed at a time. You can't squeeze people past each other. It's too narrow. Ye have little faith. See, the problem is that the plane only has one door and one lane. This forces us to have narrow thinking, much like the narrow aisles in the plane. So we need to open our minds and open the plane from the side. If the plane is open from the side, then everybody could just board at once. I also updated the seating for this. If you take the cross-section of the front of the plane, it would look like this. But Andy, what does this do to the middle, window, and aisle seat conflict? It just eliminates it. If we just put a big old window right here, everybody then has a window seat, everybody has an aisle seat, and the middle seat just doesn't exist. It's perfect. Sorry, I got a little carried away there. The immediate question that this raises is, does this fit the same amount of people as a normal plane? I don't know. I didn't check. I'm a visionary, not a scientist. Fear. Small minds would say. Impossible to solve, but you forget that here we have a simple cryo chamber. For a simple upcharge, select passengers can upgrade their seats from economy to cryo chamber, where they will be flash frozen at a good enough success rate to be stored in the lower section of the plane until they are unfrozen upon arrival. Can't be afraid if you're not conscious. And then one last thing for food and snacks, pneumatic tubes that can deliver beverages and snacks on demand to any seat in the plane. You're welcome. I'm online looking at the rate of bone fractures in the United States, and it says here on this very fancy website that approximately 6.8 million Americans break a bone each year. Considering the population of the United States is about 300 million, that gives us about roughly 2 out of every 10 Americans break their bones annually. And that means that 8 out of every 10 Americans don't break their bones annually. And I have never broken my bone. So that means, by the law of transitivity, I am 8 out of every 10 Americans. Millions of people in the United States alone are breaking their bones and having to deal with unimaginable pain. And I consider myself really lucky to have never had to go through that pain. That terrible, just horrible, terrible, terrible, horrible pain. But I have hurt myself. Not on purpose, but just because I'm being an idiot. Or because I'm near an idiot. That idiot is also usually me. I've stubbed toes, I got hit in the face with a shoe, fallen off of a skateboard, fallen downstairs. I've fallen down the stairs more than I'd like to admit. One time with an entire plate of spaghetti. But that was more of an emotional pain than a physical one. So, I've never broken a bone, but the worst pain I've had to deal with was in college on an inflatable obstacle course. I was spending the better part of an absolutely gorgeous day inside when I hear fun coming from outside my window. I go to see what it is, and I see all of these inflatable bouncy castles and obstacle courses outside on the mall, which is like the main area of the school. Near the end of the year, when finals happen, the school rents out this third-party entertainment company to blow up all of these obstacle courses and games for the students to play on so they can unwind for finals, which makes sense, and it's really nice. And it's a lot better than some half-hearted email about how not to let finals get to your head. This was, instead, a really nice thing for the school to do. It was actually really nice. They had bouncy castles, an obstacle course, and they had one that you had to do like this. I don't know how to explain it. It's not important. What is important is the obstacle course, because that's where all of my friends are hanging out. As I'm looking out the window, I can see that they're taking turns racing each other through the obstacle course to see who's faster. Clearly they were having a blast, and I wanted to have some blast. So I went outside to go meet them. I go outside and meet up with my friends and say that I want to race them. And we have a really fun time racing for most of the afternoon. And during this, I'm actually winning most of the races. You see, I had an advantage. While most people are fast or strong, my body is wiggly, which is perfect for an inflatable obstacle course environment. I can get around and over and through most any obstacle with relative ease. This allowed me to get a pretty big head about winning, because I was doing it a lot. The day was wrapping up and inflatable things were starting to be taken down. But I wanted one more race because I was on a winning high. One for the road, you know? The obstacle course was like this. Start, get over some bumps, dive through a hole, duck through some sideways pillars, then climb up a wall, and then slide down the other side, and whoever touches the bottom platform first wins. So the race starts, and that's exactly what I go through. Over the bumps, through the hole, sideways pillars, climb up the wall, and at this point, I'm pretty far ahead of my roommate. With the extra time I've gained, I decided I was going to be flashy. So I prop myself up, and instead of sliding down, I... What ended up happening was the inflatable structure was not fully inflated. There was a hole in it somewhere, so there was a lot of give to the inflatable course. And because I had jumped off of the top instead of sliding down, all of my inertia when I landed on the bottom platform punched through to the ground and did nothing to stop my momentum. I ended up landing all of my weight onto one of my ankles, and it really hurt. Now, I've never broken a bone before, but in this moment, I sincerely thought that I had. The guy who was taking down the obstacle course, like, peeked around the corner and was like, "You good?" And because I'm an idiot and embarrassed, I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Cool," and then left. I was absolutely writhing in pain, though. My friends had to drag me aside and lay me down because I couldn't stand up on my own. Thankfully, I have really good and loving friends, and one of them was actually a practicing nurse. So she went and grabbed a kit of a nurse thing and looked at my foot and told me to go to the doctor. I agreed, but because I couldn't exactly stand right yet, we decided to wait for the crippling pain to subside a little bit before we left. So to pass the time, my good and loving friends made jokes at my expense. Eventually, we do end up getting to the doctor, and the doctor explains that we should probably x-ray it just to make sure that there's no hairline fractures or something like that. To which I agree, so we go and get my foot x-rayed. And they determined my foot was fine. Not broken, just a sprain. Which is really hard to believe because of how much pain I had to go through. Also, it's been like 3 years and it still hurts. Ow. But they insisted that it was just a sprain, so never broken a bone. So that's the worst I've ever been hurt without breaking anything. In one hand, I have the pain I've been talking about, spraining my ankle, and that hurt. That was really bad. In the other hand, I have pain I've never experienced before, which is breaking a bone. Actually, really breaking a bone. Knowing what this felt like, I don't know if I could survive this pain. But there's only one way to find out. Thanks for watching this video. Before I go, a couple things. When I was editing this, my cousin discovered an old home video of all of us playing on a slide as kids. Just really quick, let's check it out. This is me. Look at those big old peepers. What is wrong with me? This was a deep-seated problem from childhood. I can't operate slides, I guess. Just get up on the top and... I'm not known for my intelligence. Moneymaker's up here. One more thing before I go. Dingo made a video a while ago with me in it, and I talk about another time I was hurt. You should check it out.
Heart helps pump your blood. The lungs help you breathe in oxygen. The appendix helps you self-destruct.
I've come close to meeting my demise a couple of times, but somehow death can't really get a firm grasp on me, and I am still here. I ain't going out without a fight, baby. Grab a snack, get cozy, because I'm about to tell you a tale about how I survived my first medical emergency. But real quick, you know how it is. Time to monetize my personal injuries. There's a link for a 1-month free trial of Skillshare for the first 1,000 people that click on it. Thank you, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video. When this all happened, my medical emergency, I was still in college. Stupid, oblivious to the doom that I was about to endure, but happy. Bunch of friends and I woke up super early one day to be overachievers and go to an interactive programming workshop. More than me, my friends wanted to be overachievers. I was lured in by free food. All I had to do was show up, pretend to follow along, and then pack away as many calories as I could. Simple. We all get there and things are going smoothly. I'm enjoying several delicious pastries at no expense to myself. But, starting to feel a little gurgly. My bowels were making a movement, and I figured I probably ate something bad and went to the bathroom to relieve myself. After going to the bathroom, I felt much better. Ooh, free food. And I went back to the original plan, having delicious and free. Oh, it's back. I was feeling really nasty again, and it was stronger this time. You know how sometimes your body's like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom. This was more of like, you need to go to the bathroom. I better stop eating this stuff. As the seminar went on, I started to get more and more sick and looked more and more pale. I would draw that here, but you know. It got so bad that I just left to go home. At this point, I lived off of campus and it took me like 20 minutes to walk home by foot. But I was so sick, I didn't even care. I was so determined to get home and sleep through whatever the hell this was and just be done with it. Halfway through the walk home, I was starting to feel really nauseous again though. Like throw up nauseous. I hate throwing up. However, nature is strong, and my stomach demanded a purge. But then I saw a truck driving my way, and I thought it would be really embarrassing to be seen throwing up on the side of the road at like 8 in the morning. So I just willed myself to not throw up. I don't know how. Eventually, I made it home. Still sick, but at least I was in bed. My roommate was home at the time, and I told him about what was happening. About all of my symptoms, the loss of free food, which was the real tragedy, let's be honest, and my iron will that stopped me from throwing up somehow. He let me rest, which hardly happened because I did get sick in the bathroom a couple times. I can't describe it accurately how terrible this felt. I would not wish this on my greatest enemy. Later, my roommate was talking to his then girlfriend, and she was like, that sounds a lot like appendicitis. You should take him to the hospital. Hey, Andy. we should go to the hospital. Why? I'm gonna take you to the hospital. And so he did. At the hospital, I'm asked a bunch of questions. Where does it hurt? How long has it been hurting? When did this start? Etc., etc. And then the doctor told me, I think you have appendicitis. We're gonna have to move you to urgent care. What's appendicitis? It's the infection and inflammation of the appendix. Failing to treat it can result in rupturing and infecting your entire body, which is usually fatal. What's an appendix? It's a useless thin tube in your lower right abdomen. It serves no function of the human body. Yeah, so I was going through mountains of pain and suffering because this little tiny part of me that has no purpose was going haywire and could literally explode inside of me and kill me. I was bitter, but I had no other choice. They admitted me to the hospital for emergency surgery. This was not the plan. I was supposed to be pretending to work while enjoying free breakfast, not getting surgery. I've never had a plan go that awry before. Hey guys, let's go get some coffee together. This was certainly not what I had in mind. Despite the increased suffering that's about to happen to me, I think that I was really lucky. If my roommate was out of the house at that point, he might have never known and never been able to bring me to the hospital in the first place. I would have just stayed in bed for the pain to pass, and then my appendix would have exploded. Then I would have gotten a one-way free ticket to the River Styx. So there's like no refunds or... In the hospital, they take me to the scanner room. They needed to look inside of my sweet bod to assess the situation and to see how dire it was. I didn't know how they figured this one out, but I guess that I was too thin and that made the scanning more complex. And the nurse was like, you are much too compact. And I'm like, what does that mean? And she was like, this tube needs to go in your butt. Yeah, my intestines were just too close together, so the scan would be too hard to see, and they needed to pump me full of some kind of liquid to expand my intestines to get a better look and determine if it was actually appendicitis and what the real issue is. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what they said. Maybe I should have stayed home. I mean, what was I gonna say? No, I'm trying to not die here. So that was a really unfun experience that I'm not gonna animate. After that, they confirmed that the situation was dire. So after the scanning room, I was back in the hospital bed waiting for the next steps when I got a visit from the anesthesiologist. We will call him John. He and the surgeon were talking and I heard them say they needed to pump my stomach for safety. If they put you under for surgery, you need to have your stomach empty, otherwise it can be dangerous. Again, not sure why. All I knew is that I was sick and that these people were just going to try to save me. So everything was go at that point. John then turns to me and says with some kind of twisted joy, "Oh, you're not gonna like this." Yeah? Well, newsflash, John, I'm not liking any of this. I like free breakfast, not surgery. I didn't sign up for this crap. So this tube has to go in your stomach. To pump the stomach, you have to have a tube pushed down your throat. It's a long piece of plastic that you have to continuously swallow down until it reaches your stomach, and then they can turn it on and get all of the stuff out of your stomach. I don't think you need any convincing when I say that is terrible. Also, you can do it wrong. If you don't position your head correctly, it can hit the back of your throat and make yourself vomit. And guess what I did? I threw up everywhere. On myself, on the nurses, on the surgeon who was trying to help me with the tube. I'm not gonna animate this either, but all I know is that I have a distinct fear of tubes now. What if I don't make it through this? Will I ever see you again? Finally, I was rolled off to surgery and moved to the operating table. Oops, one more touch to the back of the throat for good measure. And that was the last thing I remember. I was out. That anesthesia, it really does the job. And then I woke up. Appendixless. I was cured. I spent the next day healing a little bit. My mom visited. I watched cartoons on TV all day. And I got soup and an icy pop and juice for meals, which seemed like a lot of sugar for a hospital to give someone. But hey, this is America, baby. Sugar is like our aspirin. And I didn't mind. I just went through a lot. My friends who were at the seminar thing collected all my stuff for me so no one would steal it, which again, it's really nice of them. Making this video makes me realize that I'm really lucky to have the people that I have in my life. They look out for me. Thank you for looking out for me. Because if you weren't, nature would probably have taken me by now. If you are feeling nauseous and have pain in your lower right abdomen, see a doctor. If you guys were at my AMA on Discord a while back, thank you very much for stopping by. Turns out it's really hard to answer questions. You know what really peeves me the freak off? Several things, like slime and ASMR videos and other things that I'll go over with you. Give me the napkin. Is it still there? You still got it on. It's still there a little bit. Did I get it? No, there's still some. Yeah. All good? Yep. Perfect. Pet peeves. The things that, no matter how mundane, peeve you off. They just peeve you. I consider myself a go with the flow kind of guy, but sometimes there's just a couple things that really peeve me off. I don't know if anybody else is with me on this because it seems to be a very popular thing, but one of the top things that gets my goat, slime.
Kind of hurts my eyes a little.
When I was younger, I got a gift, and because I am a boy, it's slime. You know, you get boys, gross bugs, bleh, make a bug from the thing. Da, 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 da. I fell into that category, and so I was gifted slime one day, and I played with it for like, I don't know, a little bit. And not even after a minute or two of playing with it, my hands were filled with like this weird texture. It was like an oily texture. Whatever else I was touching was also getting oily. And then the slime itself was attracting all kinds of hair and dust. It was disgusting. And it was like 2 minutes.
I don't want to play anymore.
And now I can't stand slime. And when I see people make those satisfying slime videos, it just throws me into a deep and terrible rage. Anytime I see it, I just think of like sticky hair and oily texture. I don't know what's going on in my brain that makes me mad, but when I see it, it makes me mad. I get angry. I don't like slime. And besides, I'm more of a moon sand kind of guy anyway. Is it not just the better of the two? Would you rather play with soft, silky, beach-like sand or icky, oily, gross, sticky booger snot toy? Something wrong with your kid. Anyway, moving on. I'm glad that we can all agree that I'm right. Next up is ASMR. I get it. There's some people that listen to it and they love it. The sound goes into the brain and it gives it a little tickle and it makes it feel good. I get that. But for some reason, it feels the opposite for me. Ow! Ow! Stop it! I think it's like a personal space thing. ASMR makes it feel like somebody's right up in my bubble. And I don't like that. I like my personal space. I like me a good amount of air between me and people. Don't touch me. If I'm on a plane and your legs are touching my legs, I won't say anything because I'm pretty non-confrontational, but I'll be upset about it. Next up on the list, a pet peeve I think everybody can agree on. This video is sponsored by NordVPN for sponsoring this video. There's another thing that peeves me off that I'm tired of being quiet about, and something needs to be said. One moment. Look at these two burgers. Observe how easy it is to eat this regular-sized normal burger. See? Relatively easy. Now try this. It's messy. It's bigger than your mouth. And it falls apart easily. Isn't that the worst? It's okay. I've been there, buddy. I don't like food that I physically have to crush with my hands to be able to eat it. I think there should be a law that prohibits burgers from being bigger than the average human mouth size, which is about 2.2 inches, which is around the width of 3 human fingers. Take your fingers out of your mouth. Would you be excited to eat a hot dog that required you to unhinge your mouth to eat? I don't think so. I think the rule of thumb is if your burger needs a stick to stay together, maybe it's time to go back to the drawing board. People who say short instead of average height, like people are tall or short, and somehow there's no room for average. What, you're always hot or cold and there's no warm, fast or slow, full or hungry, day or night? Is your world so rigid that you are bound by the rule of black and white? Will you give no time for the brilliance of the sunset to dance on the stage of the horizon? I'm 5'9" and that's short to you? It's average. Imagine what house you could build with hundreds of millions of dollars. Beautiful marble, gorgeous statues, water features. With that much money, you should be able to make something really amazing with a lot of good taste. Well, I found a place that's somehow the opposite. I was on Zillow trying to find the most expensive place to live in New York. No, I am not procrastinating. It's important. Research. Anyway, I found this one. Look at how unfinished it looks. It looks bad. Can you guess how much this mansion costs? $125 million. Isn't that insane? You know, like wood at Home Depot that's like not finished or part of any complete project? That's what this place looks like. It's like a table where you got all the parts but never finished them. I'm not mad that the house looks bad. I'm mad that the house looks this bad with so much money behind it. How can you be so rich and make such a bad interior? It's offensive. Let's put this into perspective. Rich people can buy crazy things like F1 fighter jets and racetracks and probably a scrying orb. But then they go and get this. It just doesn't add up, and it makes me pretty mad. Like, if you're gonna have a bad house, it should at least be cheap. It's like spending millions of dollars on a party on the moon, and then you bring out the dessert and it's yogurt. Just plain yogurt. Why ruin the $1 million party with yogurt? I can only assume whoever owns this house just wanted to feel something. They've experienced so much opulence and extravagance that this disgusting vile interior is the only thing that's made them feel anything in years. Next up, the Kraft mac and cheese boxes. Bring in Exhibit A. As you can see here, there is a nice perforated edge designed for the user to easily access the mac and cheese dust within. Perfect! It will make opening it so much easier, except it doesn't! And every time I want a bowl of mac, I end up just crushing the box, and I feel stupid.
Okay, here I go. Perfect!
It's so incredibly pointless. I'm having a hard time believing it's a real machine making these perforated edges. Probably just a guy at the end of the production line making indents in the boxes with his fingernails because he thinks it's like helpful or something. Well, it isn't. Even if it was, there's an entire bag of cheese dust in there that needs to be extracted. It's not gonna fit through that tiny hole. Just copy cereal boxes. They figured it out and you can do the same thing. Probably. No. There's this thing that gets my goat so bad. When I'm on a walk with Rhea and we're having a great time, I'm taking in the nature, she's sniffing around, we come across a lawn that she's already been walking in with a tiny little, usually green, sign that says, "This lawn has been chemically treated. Keep children and pets off until dry." Why is that sign so small? Tiny. Clearly, the chemical that is treating the lawn is harmful to pets and children. Otherwise, why would there be a sign? So, when something is harmful, why is the sign so tiny? This little contradiction, it never, like, why is it also green, which blends into the grass? The issue arises when I don't notice it until Rhea's already been in the lawn sniffing around. Clearly, the solution is to have several signs, have a little skull and crossbones on it, and then, like, string together some pink string between each sign surrounded the treating area. Imagine you had to store some nuclear waste from a nuclear power plant. All right, we need to keep this away from the public. It's harmful nuclear waste, so what should we do? I have just a plan. It's perfect. If I were to give you a vial of poison and say drink it, would you? Probably not. But then, if I said, oh, don't worry, it's only enough to kill small children and pets, would you feel safe drinking it then? Probably not. I just hate those signs.